Okay, now the Lamrim, the always many people we try to rush and something to oh next word we try to go fast and try to know about next what we have, and we ignoring the past teachings, and the past teachings are so important. The Lamrim, which means the stages of the path. So if you not achieve the first stages and the next stages, then if you go try to go on the higher stages, you never ever achieve anything at all. There's nothing in success. So in order to achievement any like higher, first we have to make sure the foundation, the step by step, we have to go there. So the first fundamental, give you the just the whole idea. The Lamrim teachings beginning at the Guru devotion and then precious human life. These are the two first main sort of. These are the two. It's sort of like a tool. It's helps you engage to the Dharma, helps you to make a very strong spiritual practitioner, like inner strength on the Dharma. So therefore, the Guru devotion is something like it's sort of like a connection between practitioners and Dharma. So the devotion help us to connect with the Dharma. So there are the people study in Buddhist philosophy and Dharma, which is out of just some people is like a very just they studying as very academic, which is it's like a knowledge, or it's like a psychological, or this is Buddhist psychological, or it might be help something in very academic way. So and that's out of that intention. If you study, of course you can know more, but never achievement. So in order to achieve and the Lamrim, in order to experience the Lamrim teachings, the Dharma, so the first the devotion, the Guru devotion, the Guru devotion, the point, the main essence of the practice of Guru devotion is faith and respect to your Guru. That's the devotion. So sometimes many people they don't understanding the devotion, which means you just offering the money or just physical material offering. These are the part of devotion, but these are not really the principle. These are not main the devotion. Devotion main is actually there are the two types of the devotion, the devotion through thoughts, devotion through deeds. So the thoughts and deeds between these two, devotion through thoughts are more important. So devotion through deeds is our external, helping to the Guru, cleansing, preparing the food and massage and all this, the physical, the material helping and devotion. These are the devotion through thoughts. But devotion through deeds is the faith and respect attitudes. So if you have a very strong faith and respect to your Guru, your devotions become very, very strong. Your connection with your Dharma is becoming very stable, very strong. So how much you busy life, how much you struggle, you never ever give up the Dharma. Your mind will remain with the Dharma with 24 hours if you have that kind of strong devotion. So the devotion, how should we build it? And of course, there are the many advantages of devotion toward your Guru, according in Lamrim, liberation of palm of your palm and palm of your hand, right? Liberation of palm of your hand by Pabonka Lamrim. This book is also available in English. And Lama Tsongkhapa, the Lamrim Chemo, also the great treatise of the stages of the path called the Lamrim by Tsongkhapa. It's also available in English. There's 3 volumes. So all of them, when you read it, there are many benefit, advantages, even in not only even this in life, next and next life, also there are many. But the important thing is, first, why we need to devote to the Guru is, first, why we need to rely on Guru. Of course, everything I mentioned earlier, they practice the Dharma. It's not only many people, when they engaging with the Dharma and spiritual, they try to go more like a very soft way, sort of, or just do some prayer, take some initiation, just offering recitation of the mantra, go to the temple, bow down and offering lights and fruits and or offering some to the monks and nuns communities. This many people think that's the spiritual. That's called the Dharma practice. They think that way. Of course, these are, but these are not our principle. These are not our main. Our main focus, when we say engaging with the Dharma, I mentioned earlier, why we engage in the Dharma is because we don't want suffering. That's the fundamental reason. We want to achieve happiness. So this is our fundamental desire. It's called the innate natural desire that we human beings we have. It's undestructible desire. Just every 24 hours we're seeking happiness, peace. We don't want suffering. That's our fundamental desire. Because of that desire, we seeking how to achieve happiness. That's why we engage into the Dharma. The purpose of Dharma is to help us to remove the suffering. So Dharma is like a medicine. So suffering today we suffer is not because of our environment is bad, or either because other people are bad, or because, or somebody who created is like this. So that's not the reason. The main reason is we're suffering because our mind is polluted by ignorance or the negative emotions. All the negative emotions are part of ignorance, mistaken consciousness. These are the wrong consciousness. The person who living with this kind of wrong mind, mistaken mind, the ignorance, every decision, every planning is based on our mind. So all those planning become mistake, wrong. Decisions become mistake. That's why we act. Our actions, every actions become a mistake, wrong, because the human action is based on human mind. So if mind is wrong, actions becoming wrong. That's why our lifestyle becoming mistake. So we ended up with mistaken problems, suffering. So all the suffering comes from our mind. So we have to clean those ignorance, those mistaken consciousness. As long as living under the influence of mistaken, the wrong consciousness, then doesn't matter physical how much we success. Still, our problem never gone. Still there. Comes, goes, is still it's made us. This from the Buddhist perspective. This negative emotion, the problem is not only this life, even it can come to next and next life, can harm us, create us suffering. So another word we call, we are circling in samsara. We are circling in samsara because our mind is polluted by those ignorance, those negative emotion. So those ignorance, negative emotion, how should we clean them, right? So these are the mind. If you're not free from that, then we will going to be suffering. So we suffer because of those negative emotion, those ignorance. So how should we clean? Can enlightened beings can remove this our negative emotion? As a Buddhist, can Buddha able to remove my negative thoughts emotions? If he can, then simple question is why not he's doing? Of course, he has love and compassion to each and all beings in this planet. He have a compassion to every beings. So if he can able to clean, he will going to clean all of them. We don't need to be suffer. But today we all are suffering. So we should learn that. So therefore, we suffering because of those negative thoughts, emotions. So we, in order to clean those negative thoughts, emotions, what we need to do, this is self-responsibility. We have to clean them. We have to purify. We have to eliminate. So those negative thoughts, emotions, eliminate. I say these are part of ignorance. So when you look, all these negative emotion, there's something they believe in, there's something they're grasping, which is completely mistake. which is completely wrong. For instance, like a self-centered mind, seeking self is more important than others. And reality, of course, self is, compared with all other beings, self is not that much. Other being is more important than self because other is the majority, countless. Self is only one. So compared with other, of course, the other is much, much more important. But self-centered don't see that, don't understand that. That's why the human beings, if the person who influenced by that self-centered, then their decision, their action, everything comes out of self-centered. So because of that self-centered, it's create attachment, anger, greedy, all those negative emotions. Result, we suffer. Result, we are suffering, not others. So that's why should understanding these negative thoughts, emotions are completely mistake, completely wrong, where they're grasping, apprehending something which is completely mistake. So each and all of them, attachments, greedy, anger, hatred, jealousy, arrogance, all those negative emotions, if you look, these minds are completely misunderstanding. It's not really understanding the truth. So therefore, to cleansing those, to change those minds, to remove those ignorance, we have to understanding the truth. What is the truth? What is the reality? So in order to understanding these truths, we have to take teaching. So somebody who understands. So that's why we rely on teacher to mainly, it's sometimes that people have sort of by culture, the measure, the many Asians we have, we using our gurus or the teachers sort of like a blessing master. So we just go there, say, oh, praise Guru, bless us, then offering something, and they just say blah, 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 some kind of prayer and something, put it, and that's satisfied. Oh, I got blessing. So you used those important masters just as a blessing master. So not that much benefit. Of course, can you receive some blessing, but not that much. If you are smart, if you use those great masters, use as a teacher. So receiving teaching, what that mean? What does that mean? I'm relying on you because I have so much ignorance. I don't know many things. That's why I rely on you. So when you use your teacher, what should I need to use? I use to learn, more educate oneself, learn more. So if you're understanding more, you have a better, more chance to develop your wisdom. There's a much better to develop your inner qualities. So that's why uh, uh, we should need to be understand, how should we use. So the purpose of gurus as to take teaching. So because of this ignorance, in order to clean, I have to understand, I have to develop wisdom. In order to develop wisdom, I have to educate. That's why I rely on those teachers as teach us, to educate us, to understand. So that's why the devotion comes on that way. So if you have tremendous devotion toward your gurus, that make very strong connection with the guru and student relationship is the spiritual relationship. It's the dharma relationship. It's not about the business relationship. It's not about the money relationship. It's not about the power. It's not about like some kind of material. It's about dharma relationship. So as long as when you have more close feeling, your feeling of dharma become much closer. Your feeling of dharma much stronger. So that's why the devotion helps you engage your mind into the dharma. And not only that, it also helps to practice, not only sort of like a what you call academic, not as only knowledge. So there are some of them taking teaching, becoming very smart, understanding Dharma very well. But the practical point of view is zero. There's no practice at all. So it's like just, somebody also didn't mute it. You should mute your mic. I can hear this coughing. Um, so the what do you call, like a general education is, I go there, learn how to do this, uh, fix this or that about car and like that. We just knowing but that doesn't mean we have to experience these things. There are many education we have. So the Dharma education is to experience, to apply, to implement, to purify one's own ignorance. That is the fundamental reason. So that the reason we study the Dharma is to experience, to apply, to practice. So the cleansing one's own ignorance, one's own negative emotion is after the practice, not after the taking teaching, not after just knowing. Knowing is more important. Just knowing alone, not enough. That's not clean your negative emotion. Have to practice. So that's why if you have a strong faith to the Dharma, to the teacher, it helps your mind into practice, not only as a like knowing. So faith and respect attitudes your teacher is the devotion. Devotion means that. So how to develop faith is through understanding the guru's good qualities. Always we try to look his or her good qualities again and again that help us develop our faith. In order to develop respect attitudes, we should remember teacher's kindness, the guru's kindness. So these are detailed in Liberation of Palm of Your Hand. The Pabonka novel has so detailed. So to understanding, about the guru's kindness help us to develop our respect attitudes. So faith in the respect is called the devotion. So when you have tremendous faith, like seeing your guru as a completely same as a Buddha, how much you have a strong faith to your Buddha, that same sort of faith, if you're able to apply to your guru, that means the perfect faith you have. Same the devotion, respect, same like that. So these are the two also take a long time to develop these things. And this is not like a code. And there's a danger side and there's an important side. The important side that the devotion, it makes you first engage to the practice. So the guru is not only like he teach and God. It's like our role model. Role model, you have to look that way. So, this is the example. So inspire you. As an initial practitioner, we are surrounded by the people who are interested about the business, who are interested about the money, who are interested about the material world, who have a zero interest about the spiritual world. So we have so much influence by these materialistic things. So our mind is really fragile in the spiritual. So we need somebody inspire you, somebody who supports your spiritual. Somebody gives you inner strength. Somebody who can encourage you. That's called the gurus. So we're using him, not only seeing him as my own teacher, it's a role model, as an example. Seeing this can encourage oneself. I should go like that way. I should do like that way. Just inspire things. So you have to be very smart. How should you use that? How should you encourage? It's everything about your mind. How should you look? It's not about who they are. It's about your mind. So if you're able to do that, you have so much benefit. That's why this first. But the danger side is sometimes we can engage with a disqualified teacher. So sometimes it's problems. And teacher says something which is not suit with the Dharma, which is contradictory with the Dharma. So can we listen to that? Can we, as a student, following my teacher saying this or this, so, which is not suit with the Dharma, which is not suit, which is contradict with the Dharma. So what should I do? If I not listen, that means I disrespect to my guru. That means my devotion, I break my devotion, or what does that mean? So it's clear in the Lama Tsongkhapa's text. He says, he used a quote by Buddhas. The Buddha says, if this person, the teacher, who teach something which contradict with the Dharma, then you should reject it. So the rejecting Guru's word doesn't mean that disrespect. So I mentioned earlier, the devotion is faith and respect attitudes, right? So there are something where the Guru says which is not suit with the Dharma, which is not contradict with the Dharma. So I should reject that. So the rejecting because of that reason, doesn't mean I have to be hate to my guru. Doesn't mean I should be disrespect to my guru. That's your problems. So rejecting his teaching, that part of talk is not suit with the Dharma. It's contradict with the Dharma. I'm not going to listen. Reject it. But my faith and respect attitude to my guru still same, keeping same. So that kind of smart. So the things which is not suit with the Dharma, slowly reject. Slowly, and I don't need to do that. So simply like a Lama Adisha, he's like the founder of Lamrim, right? Lama Adisha is the Indian master during the 10th century. He brought this powerful teaching, the Lamrim teaching, in Tibet. And one of his main teachers, he has more than hundreds of teachers, he has. But one of the very kindness, the teacher is called Sumatra Lama Selimba. So the Sumatra live in Indonesia. So he went there, stayed there for 13 years to take all the bodhicitttas and those important teaching from him. Is one of the kindness, the guru, And but Sumatra Selimba, the master, his view, the school is mind-only school's view. So Adisha's view, the school, philosophy view school is middle way school. So there are two different schools. From the middle way perspective, when you see the mind-only schools without the philosophy, the view they believe in, it's incorrect. It's not correct, incorrect. So the view is different, but that doesn't mean disrespecting or something. It's not following about that view, the mind-only school's view, because he himself follows the middle way schools, called Madhyamika, Prasangika school's view. He follows specific, what do you call, Chantakriti, and the Buddha Palita. So he follows the Chantakriti and Buddha Palita's view based on Nagarjuna and Aryadeva. So these Indian master, Nagarjuna is 2nd century BC. So one of the great scholar after the Buddha. It's like he's the second Buddha. So very, very scholar, high practitioner. So he is the founder of middle way schools. So Lama Adisha is following Nagarjuna. And Nagarjuna, of course, has a number of students, but one of the main smart Buddha Palita Chantakritis, those are the students who follows middle way consequences schools called Madhyamika Prasangika. So Adisha followed that tradition. So from that point, Sumatra's view is not right on that way. So because of that view, the philosophy is different. That doesn't mean he disrespect. He's seeing him as one of the kindness, one of the main, the root guru. So, but doesn't mean you have to accept whatever he teach on specifically in philosophy point of view, right? So there are many things which is, through the point is we are relying on our guru is to try to understand what is the truth, what is the reality. The things which is not suit with the truth and reality. So that's the what you call when you're doing these practice seriously, then you know everything's. But otherwise, sometimes you are my student, I'm your guru. You have to offer me this. You have to do this. If you don't do, you disrespect this. Blah, blah, blah. These days there are many gurus coming, so there's sometimes it can create specific. It's called a cult, the brainwasher, the cult, or something can possible. So always be very smart. Every practice, the faith is important, but faith based on wisdom, based on understanding. It's not sort of blind faith. Everything, try to, utilize your wisdom, which is the right, which is the wrong. Things which is wrong, where's a mistake, and reason, if you have a reason and philosophy, everything, then reject that. But because of that reason doesn't mean, oh, I should say bad things, this or that. As long as, when you make all of the connection to your guru, then after that, disrespect and saying bad things to your gurus and like that is damaging your practice. It will very big effect to your practice, very badly damage your practice, never a success. So it's a bit, you need to be serious, what you call smart. We should learn these things. That's important. But the point is, the devotions draw your mind into the Dharma. That's the point. That's the view you have to use it. Then, precious human life. So the devotion, the guru is the external condition to help us. The internal, the precious human, understanding the life you have. What you call the 10 opportunity and 8, leisure. Leisure, which means freedom from 8 non-leisures. So the life you have right now, to understand how much important the life, the human life you have is, how important, how difficult to find. So all this to understanding, then you encourage, you stimulate oneself to, appreciate the life you have, and encourage oneself to take essence. I have to use my life like take essence to what you call not going to waste it. So it's life you have. Many people, the life they have is they use just for survive. It looks like a human beings, which means just for survive. Go work, make money, taking care of your children, and just next day again do like these things till you dead. So if you're using your life as just for survive, that's the same as like a bird. Then it's looked from the Lamrim perspective, from the Lamrim practitioner's perspective. This is the wasting the time. It's the wasting. Bird have a very small brain, very small compared with our human, huge big brain. Bird small, but bird can survive. They're just taking care of their children. They just build their own small nest, houses. They put the protection. The enemy, when they come, they try to protect their children. They survive. They just make foods and taking care of their children. They grow up. They're doing same things. So human beings living with the pressure, living with a huge big brain. If you use your life as just for like that, then what's the point? Same as a bird, maybe sometimes worse than birds. And the birds not that much make trouble. Human beings be making so much trouble. So that's why not understanding the precious human life. So we made the detail, you all know about that. We go last year about this, read these things. Point is to stimulate oneself. Oh, I have to use my life. Worthwhile, meaningful. I have to take essence, what you call the to take full advantages of life, of leisure, and opportunity, right? And the Lamrim text said, to take full advantages of my life. The advantages of my life today we take it as just a very small, just for survive. So we have a brain, we have a human intelligent brain we have right now. This brain has a potential. If you use 100%, this brain has special potential to remove, to eliminate all our negative thoughts, emotions, all our ignorance. And we can help for every next life. All this stuff, and we can able to stop in this life. That brain has that potential. Birds and the dogs and cats, those animals, they can't. They just burns. Their brain can use for limit something for material. But the human beings, we can able to use our brain, able to think, able to investigate, able to research, able to study, meditate. Everything can clean all those negative emotions. We can able to do that. That's called the precious. The precious life we have is so much. We can do so much things but we're using just very little, just for survival. So that's why many people, they don't understanding the life today we have, how much we can do. So they don't understand it. That's why the precious human life, collation opportunities, human alive, to understanding the relation opportunities human life, how important this, and it's very difficult to find. It's not easy. Okay, so through that, you know, uh, stimulate oneself to take full advantages of this life. Full advantage. I will take full advantage of this life. So that kind of inner, these are the inner teacher, so inner inspire, inner quality who inspire you, who try to what you call encourage you to do much deeper way, to take more deeper instead of just surface things. It's never ended. It comes and goes and comes and goes. It's never ended. It's always there. You success, you fall down. It's like a mountain. How much you try to go up, one day you have to come down, right? The birds, how much they fly, one day they have to land it down to the land. So it's same. It's a mundane things, success, you will fall down. So it's like it never ended. So here, understanding in these things like use precious human life much deeper. So what kind of advantages we should take? Full advantages. So that's the three. That's what the Lamrim three scopes, three capacity: small capacity, medium capacity, great capacity. Right? Small scopes, medium scope, great scopes. The small scopes we finished last year. Is mainly the small scopes is they are, as long as when they engage the Dharma, they're already seeking. Their suffering is not only stress, depression, fear, this mundane stuff. This not only this kind of material, the suffering. We try to go much deeper way of suffering. Not only even in this life, we also concerned about our next life, seeing much furthermore, long term. We look at that. So the long term, first the problem is the suffering, the being, we have, if when we call the sentient beings. Sentient beings, when you put it into the realms, there's 6 realms. 3 lower realms, 3 upper realms. The 3 lower realms, which is having hungry ghosts, animal realms, upper human, and god and demigods. So the 6 realms. So that's, as a sentient beings, as long as if we are under the influence of negative emotions, we will circling in samsara. When we are circling in samsara, we have to born in one of these realms, one of these 6 realms, always. Well, up and down and always. So among these 6 realms, one of the fearful, the most suffering, which where they have, is the 3 lower realm has a much more suffering than 3 upper realms, right? Like a human and gods and demigods, the life is a little bit better compared with the hungry ghosts and animal realms. So that's why the first concern about the next life, if you fall down into one of these 3 realms, there will be so much pain, there will be so much suffering. So that's why they're very concerned about not born into one of these 3 lords. They have a fear. Fear, when we talk about the fear, good fear and bad fear. The bad fear, it makes you angry, hatred. It makes you frustrated, depressed. That's not good. The good fear, which is encourage you, inspire you. So like, for instance, some people have fear to, for our old age suffering, physical suffering, our body's pains and body flexibles and all this physical, in order to get fear of going to get this disease and physical unhealthy, that fear inspire you or eat healthy, do exercise, do yoga, blah, blah, blah. So the people doing this because they don't want to feel suffering, physical suffering. That's fear inspire you, encourage you, right? Similarly, the fear which we're thinking about is 3 lowering suffering, the fear of those sufferings. Then they inspire, how should we stop that? How can we be able to get rid of this suffering? So that's why the small scopes, the main focus is to free from one of these three lower limbs. That's the main. And upon there, they have another things they have to control. So in order to get rid of these three lower limbs, suffering of three lower limbs, what are the causes of these three lower limbs? Why people falling down, right? When we talk about the three lower limbs, you don't imagine something. It's like a suffering they have. That's the main our focus. The suffering of heat, suffering of cold, suffering of hungry, suffering of depressed, suffering of all this kind of pain. The suffering, we don't want that. So who causing that? Why these beings are suffering? Why? So there are many others. Mainly the fundamental causes of this suffering is called 10 non-virtues. So these are the fundamental causes. So the 10 non-virtues, which is 3 from body, 4 from speech, 3 from mind. So 3 from body, killing, stealing, sexual misconduct. 4 from speech, using harsh word, telling lie, gossip, idle gossip, slander. So these are the 4 through the speech. Then the 3 from mind, which is harmfulness, covetousness, the wrong view. These are the 10 non-virtues who causing the suffering in these 3 lower limbs. And not only these 10 non-virtues are the causing for 3 lower, even today in this worldly, many problems today we have is because we act those 10 non-virtues, specifically the 7, 3 from body, 4 from speech. So we act always. So as long as when you act violent action through your physical, through your speech, these are the causes of, these can create problem toward oneself, toward family, others, even in this life. So that's why the people fear to born in this 3 lower. That's why they emphasize. If you don't want to go down there, you have to stop those causes. Not just, I don't want. If you don't want to suffering for old age, like physical body pain, then you have to take care of the body right now. So do exercise, do this, eat healthy, do exercise, like all these things we're doing. Similarly, if you don't want something like that, we have to clean those other causes. So that's why the small sculptures are very much emphasized on 10 non-virtues. How should you avoid, how should you live your life without using 10 non-virtues? That's the fundamental. So that's the fundamental small scopes practice as a practitioner. So we finished last year the small scope teaching. So after the teaching, if your life changed now, if your life a little bit better, to don't use those 10 non-virtues. If you live your life without using those 10 non-virtues, maybe before 100% we using 10 non-virtue, because after the teaching maybe 75% or maybe 50%. Something to change. At least I used to be shouting so much. I used to be screaming so much. I used to be telling lie to the people. Now after I understanding the Lamrim, I put it into practice, now I change. So the many people practice means they're thinking, go to the meditation room, just keep quiet and do something. That's not alone. We have to live our life with that. We have to change our life. So if your life is not changing, then whatever practice you're doing, it's just for temporarily. Its point is, we need to transform our life to better. This ordinary human being into enlightened beings. To transforming into enlightened beings is not 1 second human, just ordinary, and next second you just become enlightened beings. It's impossible. So these beings need to change before troublemaker. Everywhere it's making trouble. It's making trouble into family, into society, into communities, into your job. Wherever go this guy, making trouble, making problem. So this guy, when they study this Lamrim, every morning to practice, they try to live their life with the practice, so they're changing now. So now it's not that much making trouble into society, into community, family. Slowly change. Finally, never make any trouble into that. Then Again, they change. Instead of making trouble now, it's so much the kind. It's making harmony. It's creating so much beautiful environment into their family, society, communities. Completely change. That person becoming better, change it. So through that, finally, it's become 100% perfect, called enlightened beings. That transformation. So the practice doesn't mean just sit in the front of the uh, altar, do some, say blah 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 blah, something, put altars and say something blah blah. Usually your life is never changed at all. Same doing, same action, nothing changed. That means the practice, it's not suit, it's not working. Something wrong there. It's not working. So that's what point is. Before you engage in the meditation, you have to set up your mind, intention. I'm meditating here to change my life, transforming my life. Fundamental is to becoming better human beings. That kind of intention I'm doing for that to change is not expressed or something like some light or just that moment peace. Not only that, to transforming one's life, to set up the intention, then meditate, practice, then always be mindful. Mindful, when you're doing, this morning I'm meditating on small scopes to not act those 10 non-virtues. Now, it's a danger. I see something, bad things. Now there's the circumstances arising. I'm going to scream that. I'm going to use harsh word. Or my husband saying this, my wife saying this, or my neighbor saying this, or this or that. See, now I'm going to, use those bad words. So as long as when you engage in that kind of situation, be mindful. Oh my goodness, I'm doing the practice as a small scopes practice. As a practitioner, need to change this. That's why I'm practicing. So, or at least don't use this. So something to self-discipline, self-aware, self-discipline, to not act these things, to stop. So for some time you fail, you try. Maybe the first initial, even you're not remember at all. When you're engaging in this kind of situation, you're screaming, shouting, doing all those bad things. So even you don't remember, even you're not knowing anything. Then tomorrow when you meditate, I did yesterday this, confession, then again to confess and promise not to do that again. So then, next day, be mindful. Then slowly, when you engage in, I'm mindful, but still I can't stop it. It's too negative. It makes me too much angry. My anger is too strong. I can't control it. So it's split out. It's saying all those bad things again. Then, again, when you come back, strong regret, it's called a confession. So confession practice through 4 power. So power of relying, power of regret, power of the actual power, and power of promise. And I'm not doing again this. So through that, be mindful. Then next day, a little bit better. Then eventually say, you're still saying because your anger is too strong, but you're aware, you're mindful. I can't do this, I can't say. But even you're saying very bad, but still, usually if you're saying very, very bad, but today still not good word, but not that much bad, you say. So change your words, little bit better, like that. Slowly, eventually not at all. But that doesn't mean external problems gone. They're still. Business has so much dramas going on every year. There's so much politics going on. But your behavior, your action on this kind of situation, usually screaming, angry, shouting, all those violent. Today, anything at all. But that doesn't mean you're not knowing, you are not aware. You're knowing everything. All these things before what you know, same. But your reaction is so much change. That's the practice. That kind of level we have to look. That kind of changeable. It's not perspective, everybody should be in my office. Everybody should be pay respect. Everybody should be listen to each other. That expectation is not going to work. That's not the purpose. The purpose is self-changing first, self-disciplining. So point is, your environment is same, never change it. It's violent, very difficult, but the person is so much changed. Therefore, used to be every day angry, frustrated, depression, stress. Today, no stress, no depression, no angry at all. Problem same. Material external problem level is same level. But the person who living with this problem level, very different. Used to be very, very pain and suffering. Now, not that much. That kind of process. So we need to do. So the small scopes, maybe today are not medium scopes, now next time. So give you the just general information about small scope. So precious human life. When you're understanding that, engaging to the Dharma, first obstacle is attachments. Human beings, we have so much greedy, so much attachment on materialistic attachment. That's the one our mind is drawn into material. We try to come back, it's drawing back with the many people's influence here that every time you see, you hear it's about the mundane, about the money, about this. So it's our mind is drawn there, attachments, so much. So one of the biggest obstacles to become serious practices the obstacle is the attachments, material attachments. So to get rid of those material attachments, we meditating on death meditation. So that after precious human life, then death meditation. So there's mainly three. Death is certain, the time of death is uncertain, at the time of death, nobody can help except Dharma. So these are the three roots and the 9 reasons, 3 decisions. So you should read again and meditate these things. So decision is death is certain. So because of the one day I will going to die, therefore I have to practice the Dharma. I have to engage the Dharma. That decision. The time of death is uncertain. Say, oh, I can do after I'm retired. We always try to, go push back, doing something in, or after my children are grow up, then I do practice. Right now I'm busy. So we try to avoid, we try to, push back our practice. That's the laziness, attachments. So to get rid of that, the time of death is uncertain. So you will going to die, but you don't know. Next year, next month, next week, who knows? There's so many conditions of death, very small condition of survival. So that think about these to think about the time of death is uncertain. So that when the lot of death comes, nobody will going to wait. It can come everywhere, any times. So there are many causes of death. So that doesn't mean, oh, wait, my children need to be grown up. Nobody waits, yes. So that master, and this is the truth. So I have to practice right now. So before, I have to practice the Dharma. Now, second step, the time of death is uncertain. Therefore, my decisions, I have to practice Dharma right now. So right now, every day. Then the third, at the time of death, nobody can help. So everything I'm doing, so most of your life you're spending for material to bring all these things. But at the time of death, it's the one of the worst time, one of the scary, suffering time. Those material, can they help you? Nobody. Your family, nobody can help you. Your material, nobody. Even this body can't help you. Nobody can help us. So only the Dharma. At the time of dying, a tremendous fear, tremendous scare, suffering there. Who's the only material who can help you? Family, instead of helping me, make us more scared. So only the Dharma. If that moment, if I have Dharma within my mind, the Dharma is the medicine, can cure my fear, my attachment in this world, my desire in this world, can change that Dharma so I can live it very peaceful. So the Dharma is the only that it can help. So that's why I have to practice the Dharma only. So strong, determined. I have to practice for Dharma. And that's the life I have. Full opportunity, full advantages I have. Now I have to use it right now. And I'm using my life just for the Dharma. cessation. So to avoiding these three lowering, we have to clean those 10 non-virtuous action, right? That's why the first dharma we engage in is the dharma, which means avoiding 10 non-virtues. That's the dharma we practice. Practice your internal to develop a strong sense of wish to free from these 10 non-virtuous. Strong wishes to free from these 10 non-virtuous. So always you be aware your actions never act one of these 10 non-virtues. How difficult situation you arrive, always try to control. That's the life. When you live with this kind of life, you are the becoming small scope practitioner, the Lamrim small scope practitioner. If you don't care about your physical action, always acting those 10 non-virtues here and there, then even you didn't reach small scopes. Then medium scope, the great scopes, impossible. We can imagine, we can consider ourselves as great practitioner, Mahayana practitioner, but reality it's not. Even you are not at the small scope practitioner. So that's why the point. So living oneself is living without 10 non-virtues. Never act 10 virtues. Every day try to stay like that. Then small scope practitioner. Then sometimes, unfortunately, because our negative emotions are too strong, sometimes even we don't want it, but we act it. So then come back purification. That's why we're doing the purification practice through the Vajrasattva or through anything. So the point is when we're doing the purification, first rely power of through the four powers. So purify your negative karma, purifying all your negative behavior. It's not only the karma there, even it's something for your next time not going to act it. So that's what the four power we use for purifying our negative karma. First, power of relying. So the power of relying is you rely on Buddha Dhamma Sangha who can save us, protect us. So then relying on bodhicitta, so you're generating strong bodhicitta with sense of taking refuge to Buddha Dhamma Sangha. It's called power of relying. Then power of regret. Then strong regret. Oh, I acted this today. I did this, I did that. Understanding and generating strong sense of regret toward those negative action you acted. Not feel guilty, feel regret. Then third, actual power. You limited this power, but you confess all of them from deep of your heart out of strong regret. You confess all of them to the Buddha, your gurus, and everywhere, deities. You confess them, so all of them. So during the confession, then recitation of the mantra, prostration, whatever you're doing, and meditation on compassion. One of the best things is the meditation on emptiness. So powerful. So confess strong regret, then meditate emptiness, strong regret, confession, reciting the 35 confession Buddha's prayer by Buddha, written by Buddha. Those are the confession prayer, recite that, and do prostration, like all this the actual power. Then the next promise, power of committed. Now next, I'm not going to do that again. Strong promise. So these are the four power to your previous karma purifying. And then this life, try to avoiding. So that's why you're changing so much. That's the kind of life, is the small scopes. Now medium scopes, next time when we study, is now not only action. Now we're dealing with much deeper the causes of action, which are the negative emotion. So negative emotions are fundamental causes of those actions. So you're dealing more with the negative emotion. That's the medium scope. So yeah, before we beginning to the medium scope, it gives you small touch into the small scopes teaching. So next Saturday is, I'm busy. I have to give teaching in our monastery here. And then next Saturday also we have two big teaching. So that's why I think maybe we skip to Saturday. And then, but I will put whenever I'm available teaching, I will just send you in Facebook, not Facebook, what we call Skype. So I will leave the message in the Skype. So just sometime, just check in the Skype and it's there. So I will at least 3-4 days before let you know. And if I know before 1 or 2 weeks, then I will let you. But it's 2 Saturdays that I'm busy for the teaching, so it's not available. Okay, then next we're going to jump into the medium scope now. So we now finish the small scopes. So anybody, if you during these 2 weeks read Pabonka Rinpoche in medium scope and the Lamrim Chemo, so it makes a little bit familiar. If you read all of them before that preparation, then when I talk, it's much easier to understand. So if you don't have any idea about these things, then when you take teaching, you only get 20% or 25%. Even whatever you got, it is easy to forget. So if you're already familiar about these things, then when you think, oh, this is what I mainly try to go the point of this, this huge big teacher can't go all those details, but I try to bring it what's the point, how to make a link between those practice. So that's the main my focus. It doesn't mean all those word by word. I was not going to work that way. So this your responsibility is the homework. So read this, or you just still gathering together as a Sangha member, support each other, read, make a study group is so important. Study, inspire each other, and read each other. Then the doubt when you have, during here discuss, just caution, should discuss these things. It's not easy. So as a Sangha, it's not only used for just some prayers and then go out. It's not only that. The Sangha is the Dhamma supporter. Rather go much deeper to educate, to learn those deeper philosophy, inspire each other, helping each other, supporting each other to make strong communities, Dharma community. It's benefit to you. So it's about you. Sangha members, the relationship is Dharma relationship. There's no business relationship. There's no political relationship. So if you bring political relationship in there, you can explore, finish, gone. But that's not benefiting. It's putting the poison into your group. So to bring here as Dharma relation, help each other, support each other, what do you call, inspire each other to make a very strong, like a Dharma. So it can help to each individual inspire continuous practice. Otherwise, all these dramas and here, there, then people, institute inspire, and sometimes it's making more problem, which we don't need it. So this is about in your hand. It's somebody bringing. So, but even 2 people, even 3 people, inspire, study. My point is, study and be aware, be understanding more, and then next when we teach something much easier to understand. I think that will benefit more. Okay, we'll leave here today. It's already here 10:38. Then 2 weeks, I guess maybe the 2 weeks later, we're going to go medium scope. Now we're going to do the dedication prayer here. Of course, the dedication, which one of the important dedication is the world peace. And all the great masters, specifically His Holiness the Dalai Lama, through that all the great masters in these worlds are very important to remain the Dharma, to benefit to others. So we dedicate our virtues and merit, long life, those great masters, and specifically His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and accomplish all his wishes can accomplish. And each individual should also dedicate your virtues and merit to achieve enlightenment, to benefit to all sentient beings. I'm going to recite here some stanzas, the dedication stanza, and anybody, if you have individual dedication, you should also join and dedicate the virtues we accumulate through this discuss. Dagli chini sabi jiwa de tendan to walk when I complete the development Los Angeles, then the Nimbo into Seje show. Chanjo Semjo Rinpoche, Majiba, Namki Juji, Jeba Nyamba Meba, Kone Kondo Pewa show. Kare Ravi, Kore Shinkanso, Pendantewa, Mali, Chone, Jeres, Tinzin Jato, Shape City, Batu, Danger. Okay, thank you.